Hey everybody, today we have an amazing guest all the way in Illinois. I'm coming to you from Miami. We have Doreen, Germany, and she has just completed over 1 month on only raw food. I know a lot of people, this is a transformative experience, whether they want to do it for a cleanse or long term. There tend to typically be a lot of benefits that take place. So I think it's been about 5 weeks for her now. So we're going to find out what's going on. So, hey Doreen, how's it going?
Hi, Jillian. Thank you so much for having me again. I'm so happy to see you again. It's been about what, 9 months since the last time I was on here.
Yeah, good memory. It has been about
Yeah,
that. And I'll put
yeah,
your
yeah.
first video down below. I think it was like your plant-based journey and how even just like plant foods have changed your life and so many things happen. So I'll put that down below. But take us through what inspired you to try eating only raw food, nothing cooked, and what happened?
Okay. Well, first, I want to say thank you so much. That first time, so many of your viewers and your subscribers reached out to me. A lot of them joined my Facebook group, and it's just been phenomenal. The comments were just really fun to read, and that was just it was phenomenal. So I shared my story at that time of how I healed myself completely of four large fibroids when the doctor was saying hysterectomy, like there was no other way. And I shared on there, how I healed the hysterectomy, got rid of gum disease, my vision went to better than perfect, and all these amazing things. And that was over 10 years ago, right? So I've been on a healthy, holistic, I've lived a healthy, holistic lifestyle ever since then. At that time, I was in I had just turned 40. I am now 54 years
Wow.
young.
And you were looking great. And that, so the cause, okay, so for anybody who doesn't know who's watching, would you say the cause of those things was standard American diet and like poor lifestyle? That's what led to those things in your opinion? Because you did reverse them with the change in lifestyle, right?
Absolutely. And see, and it's not, I was eating at that time what I thought was healthy because in my 30s, that's when I very first ever tried like some type of diet or, restrictive eating. And I did the Atkins diet. And it was, I
Mm.
mean, I lost weight like in 4 months, like I lost like 40 pounds and I felt good, but I was in my early 30s, right? I didn't know. And when I think back to it, I was eating cheese and meat and I probably was eating vegetables, but not a lot because the more focus was on like protein.
Mm.
So when I started feeling like all these aches and pains after I had my son, and now I'm in my late 30s, and I'm just like I'm now like 275 pounds, right? So I'm 5'8", I'm pretty tall, so I wear it well, but I still was big. And I'm having my body's breaking down and all of this. And I'm going, what is wrong? Like I always just keep going back to what I knew, the Atkins diet, which is now keto, and I was getting sicker, right? So my stomach was blowing up more. I was gaining more weight trying to do this high protein, low carb diet. And so I knew something was wrong. I had no clue that there was like, antibiotics and steroids in the meat. I didn't know anything about organic. I didn't know anything about any of this. And so that's what started me on my journey. So that first time I went to a place because I was trying all different things on my own. And I used to call, I jokingly call myself a Google doctor, right? Because I could Google the hell out of something. Is it okay to say hell on here? I don't
Yeah,
know.
it's all right. Yeah.
Okay. I can Google the mess out of something, right?
Yeah.
But, and then you have like all this information, but that doesn't mean it's for you, right? There's so many different things, and not everything works for everybody. So it was when I went to that place that I mentioned in Michigan that's no longer there anymore. And I worked with a naturopathic doctor, and he's like, okay, you have fibroids. This is your height. This is your weight. This is your blood type. This is what we're going to do. And I went on raw vegan, like they showed us. I had never heard of that before. And I did raw vegan. I did not do juicing. We just did, just raw eating. Like I
Mhm.
dehydrated stuff, made kale chips and all of that. I did that for 10 minutes while I was there, started feeling amazing, came back home, and for 6 months, like I just really adhered to that raw vegan lifestyle. Completely eradicated the four large fibroids. The doctor was mad when I came back later that I didn't have his surgery because the fibroids disappeared, and just eradicated everything to lose like 60, 70 pounds, and all of my health conditions overturned that time.
And your
So
mental health. I feel like people get surprised and really realize when they shift the foods and start eating the real foods, just the massive connection that the food we put in our gut has on our moods and depression and our happiness, like all those different things, right?
yeah, and you know what? And that's important. I'm definitely going to address that because it's not just food. right? Now, food is the biggest thing that we put in our bodies on a daily basis, but we also feed our minds with social media. We feed our minds with the news and what we're watching. There's so many ways that you can feed yourself, and you can keep yourself in a state of fight or flight by always being afraid and scared and terrified, like the election that was coming up. So many, I don't say everybody, but so many people were like scared and stressed and worried. If you do your part, you voted, you did your part. Now keep on with life. Don't go to bed like, oh my God, there's gonna be
Mhm.
doom, and then you wake up in the morning and you're gloomy because you went to bed thinking about doom.
Yeah, like
Um,
we can't control everything. We
we
just have to do the
can't.
best we can and, be happy, especially before we fall asleep. Because, the
Yes.
power of our subconscious mind and how we feel before we fall asleep sets the tone for the life we create. They say everything's so impressionable as we fall asleep and our thoughts and our feelings. And that's literally like creating our life. So I think, especially before bed, like, do whatever it takes to chill out and feel good. Make feeling good a priority. Like that's your job, to feel good and have fun. Like I just interviewed somebody who's over 40 years plant-based and she has cancer.
Wow. Hmm.
And she said she realized, like, even though she was so healthy with her food habits, like she was super off balance with other areas of her life and she wasn't having fun. Like, and she was, I guess, stressed out and stuff. So, like, we got to have fun and chill out regardless of our diet, too, right?
Because you could be eating the most healthiest diet ever. But if you're living in fear and negativity and not sleeping properly and having nightmares, so nightmares, right there. I haven't had a nightmare in so long. Like I used to think that was just a way of life, to have nightmares and different things like that. But now that I've, lived a holistic lifestyle and I do, the deep breathing and the meditation and making sure I always go to bed, clear minded and happy and things like that. Like I don't get nightmares.
Mm-hmm.
So those things all you have to think about that your organs are responsible for the hormones that produces, right? So when you're afraid all the time, your kidneys, that affects your kidneys, right? When you're angry, it affects your liver because that comes from the liver. So, if you're angry and you're afraid, and then you're also eating toxic foods and in a toxic environment, that's just a breeding ground and a host for cancer and inflammation and autoimmune diseases and things like that. So you're so right. And that's
Mm-hmm.
where I was. I'm going to tell this time what caused me to go back to raw vegan. But at that time I was in a state, I was always like in a state of fight or flight. Back when I was dealing with the fibroids, I was stressed a lot. There was a lot of things going on in my marriage. It was just a lot of things going on. So even though I changed my eating, everything did not fully fall in place until I started also working on the mindset.
Yeah, the mindset is key. That's one big thing I've learned from Lou Corona. I don't know if you know him. He comes on the channel a lot.
Yes. Yeah.
73 years young, doing a 7-minute plank, living on raw living foods for 50 years,
Uh,
drinking his lemon ginger blast green juice every day for 52 years. And just
wow.
like he says, some people will be like, well, I'm doing exactly what you're doing, but I don't look like you or I'm not healing like you. And he's like, well, are you practicing forgiveness? Are you
Yes.
letting things go? Are you right within? Are you right with your thinking? Like these things are almost more important, like the vibe we have within with like our thoughts and like, how we hold on to things and stuff, letting those things go because like they can literally manifest disease and things in our body, right? It's just crazy.
Yeah. They said that being angry at somebody or not forgiving somebody is the same as you drinking poison and expecting that person to die from it or be hurt from it. So
Mm.
you're drinking the poison. This person has gone on about their life, and you're the one that's dying inside because of the poison you took. Let people go. Let it go. Forgive them. That doesn't mean you're enabling them. That doesn't mean that it was okay what they did, but you are forgiving, you're freeing yourself. So you're so right. But I do want to talk more about that because that was actually a big part of what helped me this time. So let me talk about what led me back to go back on a raw vegan. So I've been living a holistic lifestyle for like the last 10, 12 years, maybe more, right? I help people with their health. I've helped thousands of people out across the world. So I know this lifestyle, right? My typical diet is usually, I would like have like a smoothie or whatever during in the morning and, my salads, my fruits, my everything like that in the afternoon. And then typically I would usually eat like a cooked meal with maybe some wild caught fish, some quinoa or brown rice, and some cooked vegetables. So I eat clean. Like I eat clean already. Working out, in the warm months, I'm outside in the elements. I go walking and jogging in the park pretty much every day. I make sure I get my 10,000 steps, doing my meditation and all of this. So my son was shot, my 22-year-old son. I'll never forget the day. It was in September. And I woke up to a text message, and it was like my sons don't live with me, only my youngest son, right? So my son, I got a text message at 7 in the morning that my son had been shot in Chicago, right? It was just because I put my phone on vibrate at night. I mean on so I'm like, oh my God. Like
Oh
this
my
was
God, I'm so sorry. This is crazy. I did not expect you to say that. This is, oh my
yeah.
gosh.
I didn't expect it either. But still having grown sons, I know they're out there in the world, they're trying to find their way in the world. Like a lot of times when I put my phone on airplane mode, like I worry, like, should I do this or not? And I say, you know what, I have to, I gotta free myself, right? So anyway, I got this message that he had been shot, and so I rushed to the hospital, what have you. And that started like a very stressful time for me, right? My son has, even though, like, I don't know if you've ever dealt with someone with like bipolar disorder, what have you. They're functioning people out in society, just like you and I, right? So when you have a disorder, there may be times where you have like manic episodes, and then there's most of the time that you're just like functioning and average, right? So it's always been hard for me to get him services or assistance with his disorder, because you just never know when it's going to come. But for the most part, he's usually normal and functioning in society. So when he got shot, I had to, as mom, I was it. I was it. I was the one that had to take care of him. I'm just so grateful that he still lived for me to be able to take care of him, right? But I had to nurse him back to health, and not only physical health, but mental health. He was, dealing with PTSD from being shot.
Yeah.
Um, he was, his disorder was getting worse. He was going through depression, and he lives in his own apartment. So I would have to go over there to his apartment like every day and like cook for him, take care of him, taking him therapy appointments. And so I became stressed internally.
Hmm.
Okay. So we were just talking about this before we started recording. I'm that person that everybody looks at as the strong one. Everybody can come to D. D is always positive. D is always smiling. D always has herself together. She's there for everybody. But I go through things too. And there's typically not a lot of people around when I need something, right? So I'm just used to kind of internalizing things and just putting on that face like I'm strong, I got this, right? And I found out that I'm an empath.
Hmm.
So an empath is a person that absorbs people's pain, especially if that person is close to you. So not only do I absorb your mental, like if I see you're hurting, I hurt. Like, but if you're physically hurting, I've learned that sometimes I absorb that. And I'm like, I don't want nobody's pain. Like, I gotta learn how to like deflect that.
Like, this is
So
too much. Yeah.
yeah. So I was then on top of that, I was in a new relationship. Now, I don't know if you remember the last time I was on here, I was kind of joking. I was like, yeah, if you got a single man, if any of your subscribers
Oh
are
yeah, I
single,
remember.
they live that healthy lifestyle, tell them to reach out to me. Like I was joking, right? Because I really have to know a person first before I date them. So I was
Did
kind of
somebody
joking.
reach out from that
Yes,
video? Stop
yes,
it. Ah,
yes.
we're a matchmaking channel on here.
But I've never in my life dated, like I've never done like online dating or anything like that. Like I typically, all my relationships have been people I work with or I know you first before we date,
Yeah.
like go to church. So that doesn't work for me. I don't do that. But anyway, so I was in a new relationship, and I'm looking over here to the side because I got my little notes so I don't forget things, right? So I was in a new relationship, and I was having so much fun prior to my son being shot, right?
Yeah.
Um, he was there for me. We were doing everything together. We work out together, go to the beaches, travel, all of this. But then when my son got hurt, he began to pull away from me.
Hmm.
Like he was not supportive. He began to say very mean, not supportive things. And I could tell like he was frustrated because I was spending so much time with my son. But I mean, that's what I'm supposed to do, right? At
And
that
that's your
time.
child. Yeah. Like,
Yes. So instead of being there for me, sometimes like after, taking my son to therapy or, just trying to help him take a shower and change his bandages and all of this stuff, I would just be so exhausted. Instead of him saying, well, honey, just let me, just come over and let me rub your feet or whatever. He just became very mean and support and non-supportive. So all of this I internalized, right? This further stressed me and it just made me feel so alone, right? Family members were saying different things. They were spreading vicious rumors about my son, and just it was just so much. And I felt like I was on an island by myself, right?
Mm.
So on the outside, I feel like I was all good, but inside, I guess I was suffering a lot. So then I started gaining weight. Even though I was still doing my healthy lifestyle, I had not changed a single thing. I didn't like go to the fast food restaurants and start like stuffing my face or any of that. Like I still was living my holistic lifestyle. I started gaining weight. I started having nerve pain all over my body. Like first it started in the feet. And I was like, okay, I know I'm not diabetic. A lot of people that are diabetic have neuropathy. I have monitors, at my home. I would check my sugar levels. They were fine. So why am I having nerve pain like it would start like, especially when I would lay down, like my feet would just pulse and tingle. Like my legs became restless. Like in my sleep, my legs would jump. And I'm like, what is going on?
Mhm.
I started feeling dizzy and off balance. I wasn't sleeping good. Now, like I told you, at the time I was eating mostly raw or organic, like I had not changed. Nuts and seeds, cooked meals, organic, quinoa, sweet potatoes, veggies, all of that, right? I was doing 10,000 steps a day and all of that. Now, I was like, you know what? I started going to the doctor. They were thinking there was something in my head, like something is wrong with you mentally because there's everything is showing well, right? She couldn't figure out why the heck I was getting this nerve pain. Like it was frustrating. And I know, like a lot of your viewers probably go through that when you're not feeling good in your body and you're going to these doctors because you think they're supposed to heal you and save you, and they're telling you nothing's wrong,
Or
right?
at least just to even get the diagnosis. Yeah, it can be
Right.
so frustrating when you're going through stuff and not knowing, okay, what is this? Because once you know what
Mhm.
it is, then you can work on solving what's causing it sometimes, most of the time.
Right.
Well, depending. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing, because that's like with my mom. My mom passed of pancreatic cancer, but she was so into like, not trusting the doctors that we didn't know what it was that she was dealing with. We didn't find out until 3 days before she died because she
No
refused to let
way.
them do any biopsies on her, ultrasound. So we didn't know. So even though I know how to help people holistically, I still didn't know what to do because we didn't know where is it? Like what
It,
is it that we're
yeah,
dealing with?
with
You understand
pancreatic
what I'm saying?
cancer, I've heard that. Like I just interviewed Chef AJ, who has cancer, Chef AJ.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
she said there was a raw vegan who had pancreatic cancer in like 2003 or two or something. And then 3 months after the diagnosis, they were just gone. I think that that's a
Yeah.
cancer, right? That can just be like rapid. And how long was it between your mom finding out she had it and her passing away? And like, what were the symptoms? What are the symptoms of that?
Well, my mom, and that's another thing I want to talk about oral health because my mom, it was in May. The pandemic had just started, right? The
Yeah.
whatever. And so she was already kind of like hiding and wouldn't let anybody come over. And she would ask us to buy groceries and we would bring them and she would tell us to put them on his doorstep. And I'm going, Mom, it's not good for you to live in fear like that. But she would like peek out the window. So we didn't know that she was sick. It
Mhm.
wasn't until my brother came from out of town to visit her for her birthday. And he's like, You're not going to open this door for me, Mom. I haven't traveled from North Carolina to not see you. And when she opened the door, my brother was like, Yo, what's wrong, Mom? Like that's when he realized she was sick. That was May, the first week in May of 2020. My mom was gone in July. She died in July. So
Sorry. Jeez,
yeah,
it's so crazy when you hear of these stories where it's so quick like this. Like, it's just unbelievable. That's why I'm always like, well, what are the symptoms? Just in case. Like, that just seems like one of the ones you always hear that are just rapid. Like,
yeah,
and
her
that's why I'm
stomach
not
was
like, I know in this
swollen.
health community, it's so easy for people to get so against the medical industry that you kind of sometimes can get too extreme and not go to the doctors at all. And
Yeah,
I've heard people say that they wish they went who had that type of cancer and went and got checkups or like, because if they had found out sooner, maybe they could have done things to prevent it, right? So I think it's
yeah,
important to go get checked, get
it
your blood work,
is.
check on things, like still see doctors. I mean, everybody's got to do what feels right to them, but like it's our bodies, right? We want to live our best life and we just never know. Even if we're doing all the right things, like look at Chef AJ eating so clean for years, like we have to humble ourselves a little bit out here too and realize like things can happen to anyone, right? And there's all
It
kinds of
can.
different things that we don't know could cause it or it could happen. So why not just stay on top of like checkups to make sure? It's great we live in a world where we can have all this technology and get things checked and find out like what's the status of this and that inside, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, sorry that happened.
That's
I'm
really
really sorry.
concerning. Yeah, her stomach was swollen, and then it was really swollen, like she was pregnant, and then she again the doctors kept saying, "Listen, you need to get in here. We need to check you out," and she wouldn't. And I even tried to, I took her and tried to help her, feed her. I was gonna give her juicing. Now, me as a, I do help people with their health. The only time like we really go to juicing is when someone is in a like severe state like that, like all juicing, because they can't eat. But at that point, she couldn't even hold anything down at all. Like she was throwing everything up, and it was just horrible. And yeah, we didn't find out until 3 days before she died because she went into a sleep coma. And we were finally able to get her in the hospital because before that, when she would like pass out, or if she was so sick that we would call the ambulance, she would send them away. She was like, "I'm okay." And I was like so stressed. I was like, "Mom, you're not okay. We need to know what's going on." And I would ask them, like, "Could you please still take her to the hospital?" And they said, "Ma'am, we can't." She still, like, she knows her name, she knows the year, she still, got all her senses. If she says she doesn't want to go to the hospital, we can't take her. So it wasn't until she went into that sleep coma that we finally were able to get her to the hospital. And that's when they said, "Your mom has stage 4 pancreatic cancer." And so she was gone in 3 days. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
And
I
I'm going to
understand.
tell you too,
Somebody, I'm
my
not going to say who it is because the person I'm close to is very private, but somebody that I'm so close to has stage 4 right now, and they've been given months to live, and it's just it's crazy, it's scary and it's hitting a lot of people now, and it's just it's a lot.
it is. I'm so sorry because I've been there and I know it's not easy. No matter how much you try and be strong on the outside, it's not easy. It's not easy. And the closer the person is to you, the more, it affects you. So, but anyway, I knew getting back to me. Oh, and this is important because as me working in this industry, like I've been, helping people for like 10 years with their health, right? So there's some warning signs that I know right away, like, no, this is something's wrong, right? So under my arms has started itching a lot, like under
Mm,
both arms, even though I was doing lymphatic showers, like I know that's the lymphatic system, under my arms has started itching, and I was doing the massages, and then my breasts like were itchy, itchy, itchy. Like the nerve pain was like all over my whole body. And then my breasts would itch, and sometimes my face. And I'm saying, no, this is more like a lot of people might think it was just neuropathy. I realized that was something going on with the liver and the lymphatic system, right? Which is really, like I said, it was almost perplexing when you're living a healthier lifestyle, right?
mhm.
So I said, okay. I already went to the doctors. They were sending me to all kinds of stuff. Like, we don't know what's going on. I'm like, something is wrong, right? Then my gums had started bleeding, like, in the back where like you chew, my gums would be bleeding. Sometimes I would wake up and there was blood. And I'm going, okay, I brush my teeth twice a day. I oil pool with coconut oil. Like, I live a healthy lifestyle. I don't eat no processed food, no sweets. I floss my teeth. Like, what the heck is happening? So I said, okay, I'm going to just do my raw diet. Like, I know that food may not be the end all be all, but I'm going to just go raw, right? I'm going to go completely raw. And so I started doing raw vegan December 1st. Today makes 5 weeks. And I feel so much better. My gums stopped bleeding. My teeth started like, I could feel my teeth starting to, like, my gums tightening back up and shifting in my mouth. I I love eating raw. I love, like, raw can be fun because you have such, like, there's unlimited choices, right? Like, you could just eat
Mhm.
whatever you want. I actually look forward to eating delicious raw food. Like, I get excited sometimes when like, if I'm on a raw and I'm going, oh my God, like, I could just, like, I can eat this fruit. I can eat these, like, I can have fun making dishes and things like that. Like, the sky is the limit. Now, I do limit nuts and seeds due to some of the inflammatory responses I may get sometimes.
Mhm.
But when you're eating so clean, you can tell right away when something is bothering you, right? So on
Mhm.
the days if I would eat too many nuts or seeds, like, I could tell the difference. So, I do eat nuts and seeds, but I did limit them. So I started sleeping much better. Okay. All the aches and pains, low aches. I was having like shooting pain in both shoulders. I'm telling you, something serious was percolating in my body. I already know this. And I'm 54, so I know I've already went through menopause. So I know with my family's history and the different symptoms I've heard other family members say, a lot of that was pointing towards breast cancer, right? Because the itching under the arms, the itching breast, the nerve tingling, and all of these different things like that. So,
Oh,
um,
really? So sometimes, yeah, I guess if some people have a tumor in the breast, that it would press on the nerves, right? That could cause, and that would be maybe what would be causing the nerve symptoms.
it starts, see, there's always a beginning first, right? So a lot of people don't catch breast cancer until they start having the lumps or what have you, but your body's giving you signals long before. And when you're living like a healthier, holistic lifestyle, you can hear those symptoms faster, right? Because I've had family members tell me later, like, yeah, they were having migraines already. They were having back pain and arthritis and all this stuff. So when their breast started itching or started itching under their arms, it was just another thing for them, like another issue, right? But for me, living a holistic, healthy lifestyle, not having any health concerns, when I start feeling something like that, I'm like, wait a minute, I know what this is. Your lymphatic system, because you have your lymph nodes under your arms, right? And so
Hmm.
your lymph nodes, your lymphatic system is what helps to pull toxins and things out, right?
Hmm.
So if you start itching up under your arms and you're starting to get lumps under your arms, that's a stagnant lymphatic system.
Hmm.
So it's not, your lymphatic system is not filtering out all that estrogen. And so then it starts to build up. And then that's when people start noticing like feeling lumps. Like usually you may even feel lumps under your arms first, right? And then your
Yeah.
arms are right connected to your breast.
That's why there's so much focus these days because everybody has this knowledge now, right? That's why there's so much focus on the lymphatic exercises, right? Like the
Mm-hmm,
rebounding, the
mm-hmm.
jumping up and down, like the
Yes.
hot cold for the lymphatic system and the circulation and all these things to have a healthier lymphatic system, right?
Yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
I was doing the lymphatic massages under the arm,
Hmm.
the breast massages. I have added, my son bought me a trampoline with a handlebar. So I've been doing that now. I do that like 30 minutes a day. But I have been doing that prior to doing the raw vegan. So the only thing, so I was like, okay, I'm already eating clean. I was like, I know that the cleanest that your body, the most that your body, the less your body has to process as far as foods, the more time your body has to heal, right?
Yeah.
That's period what it is.
Yeah.
This is
That's
the reason
true.
why some people will do fasting and their body heals. You
Hmm.
can't do that long because you have to put nutrients in your body. But that's the whole reason why the body starts to heal very quickly when you're water fasting or when you're juice fasting or whatever, is because first of all, you cut out all the inflammatory food, like anything that your body might have not, been responding to, because sometimes our bodies don't even respond to sometimes the raw foods. You may be eating broccoli and your body may be having an inflammatory response towards that. So when you're cutting that out and you're just doing juicing or water fasting, you're not putting those inflammatory items in your body. So now your body can say, okay, we don't have to deal with that emergency. Now let's work on this emergency. Okay.
Hmm.
So by me eating cooked food, even though they were organic, like sweet potatoes and quinoa and things like that, I know that your body has to process cooked food more than it does raw food, right? So when you're dealing with a health crisis, putting less things that your body has to process, your digestive system can rest more so your body can heal, is what the whole thing was. So I
Yeah.
said, okay, let's do the raw food. So um, I just started, the aches and pains went away, my eyes got clearer, my head became clearer because I was getting brain fog and things like that. I lost it's not so much about the weight at all for me, but I did
Yeah.
lose 13 pounds. But a lot of times when you're unhealing things like this, some people may not lose weight in the beginning. And if you don't, for me, again, as a practice, like doing this for so many years, I know that if you're not losing weight, that means there was a serious emergency going on in your body. Your body's too busy working on that to be focused right now on the losing of the weight, right? So my face is smooth now. My gums stop bleeding. I can see like my teeth are starting to, shift back into place. And the nerve pain, completely gone.
That's great because that's a concerning thing. And I know you were like, oh, some people thought it was just neuropathy. And it's not
Hmm.
even like just neuropathy. If people were saying that, like my dad has neuropathy, and I know people who have neuropathy, and it's not something to mess with. Like he has a huge car collection. He can't even really drive much anymore. Can't
Yeah.
walk properly. Needs like is off balance. And I see the struggles and the suffering he has from diabetic neuropathy.
Yeah.
And I think it's way more serious than people even realize. And I think a lot of people think with the nerve pain that it once you have that, like you've destroyed your nerves, you can't reverse it. So I think it's a great like story of hope for maybe somebody suffering from that out there that you have reversed that and then it's gone. So do you think all this was triggered from stress, like from the shooting and like because I feel like a lot of these things can manifest from extremely stressful situations, right?
Yeah. I feel like I had already, yeah, me feeling like overwhelmed with what was going on with my son, me starting to see that maybe the relationship I was in was not what I thought it was going to be and wasn't serving me.
Sorry that happened. I'm
Um,
responsible for that. I'm gonna
yeah.
get you, that guy out there. No, I'm joking. But I'm sorry that happened.
No,
But at
no,
least you
I didn't
learned,
date
and at
him.
least you didn't go get married, stay together, and then learn after years and years and or maybe you did get married, but at least you didn't.
No, no.
Oh, but at least you learn now, right? That it's not a fit, and that you know somebody out there is a much better fit for Miss Doreen. So if you are the right fit, actually, I won't go there again. But yeah.
No, but let me clarify. That wasn't the people that reached out to me. Like I said, I don't date people that I meet online. So this was the person that I was dating was someone that had been introduced to we, I met him at church. So that was different. Yeah.
Okay,
So
yeah.
no, I have to like see and feel and know somebody to, kind of date. But again, I just realized that we weren't the best fit. And I was starting to see that before my son got hurt. But when my son got hurt, it just really showed itself. So I had to step away from that. And I'm proud of that to be able to say, I'm not desperate. Like, I'm not at a point in my life where I'm like, I have to have a man. I can't function without one. Like, I'm at a place where I'm happy and my life is peaceful. And if I don't have one, it'll be okay. I do love men. Okay, don't get it wrong, but I'm okay without one. And so
Yeah,
when
good.
you're not desperate, that actually can allow you to like see what doesn't serve you or what doesn't work for you. You're not desperate to like go ahead and allow things even though they're not working for you. Right?
Yeah, you don't want to attract somebody when you're like, I want it. I want a
Yes.
relationship. But you'll attract the
Yeah.
best relationship when you're focused on yourself, creating your best life, super happy just with yourself. And then I feel like
Yeah.
that's when people tend to attract the right partner. When you feel like when you've become your best self, really. Not
Yeah.
like I'm a
Yeah.
relationship expert, but just saying, well, what's the greatest thing you've learned from all of this experience right now?
Again, you have to like you just have to like you said, you just have to give your body the best chance to be able to fight things. We cannot control what's going to happen out here. We can't control the viruses right now. There's like five different viruses that are going around, right? The stomach virus, they say
Mhm.
the COVID is out again. Like there's like five different viruses all on Facebook. Everybody's going, yeah, everybody's sick. Be careful, da, da, da. You can't control, we've had Thanksgiving, we've had Christmas, New Year's celebrations, and things like that. You can't control being around people that are sick or the viruses that are going on, but you can control how many toxins you're feeding into your body and how your body will respond when you come across that virus, right?
Mhm.
At work just yesterday, I had to be trained by someone, and he was, oh my God, he was coughing, sneezing, nose was running. And I was like, yeah, no, I'm not comfortable, but I had been around him already, but I wasn't like terrified, like, oh my God, I'm going to be sick. And then later on that day, like I started feeling chills, like I could feel my body fighting it off. Right. And the reason why is because right now I'm feeding my body it doesn't have to do a ton of work to process food. So
Mhm.
it'll process whatever I'm eating and go right back to killing and healing whatever else is going on or whatever else viruses are coming across. So you're
Yeah.
giving your body the best chance when you're putting
Yeah, because
healing.
you don't know what's going to come at you. It's right. We have to protect ourselves in this world. And the best way to do that is to eat the clean foods. Exercise is a massive
Yes.
thing. Exercise every day. This is one of the top reasons the people in the blue zone live so long, not just because they're eating healthy food, because they're all moving every day. So,
Yes.
like, get the movement, get the exercise, have the purpose, all these things, right? And then you strengthen your immune system and have a better chance at not getting sick. Because when you do get sick, especially if your household does, oh my gosh, it's such a
Yes.
downer. It lowers your vibe. It affects your whole life So it's just like,
Yeah.
let's prevent those things. And so thank God you're okay. And things are looking up. All the nerve pain's got.
Yeah.
How's your son? Is he okay?
He is. So let me tell you that some good things came out of it. you know. Okay, so at that time when he was sick and it was a lot on me, I was self-employed at the time, still running my business and trying to help my clients. And I knew that I was going to have to get back out into the workforce eventually to have a steady paycheck, right? But I
Hmm.
just did not like I love helping people. My background is in corporate America. I've had like six-figure jobs working as a mortgage underwriter at Wells Fargo and things like that. And the thought of going back and doing something like that makes me want to pull my hair out. Like I don't
Hmm.
want to sit at a
I
desk.
get
I'm
it.
too active. I wanted to do something where I could help people. So while I'm looking for services for my son, I'm going, there's got to be agencies out here that can help me. I can't be there full time with him because I still got to, but there's got to be agencies that can help me. And I started putting it out there, asking around, and I started getting all kind of referrals and resources. So I called several of the agencies, and I was able to get my son with case management, where they help him with therapy, psychiatrists, getting back and forth to the doctors. They help him get back out in the workforce, help you with paying your rent, whatever you need. So while I was finding services for him, there was this one company that they didn't call me back for my son, but I did notice they were hiring, right? And so I remember looking at a couple of the positions, and I was like, oh, let me put my resume in just for the heck of it. Like, what's the worst? I remember when I put my resume in, I was like, yeah, I don't have any experience in that field professional, even though, in my life I've done it. I was like, but what's the worst that can happen? They don't reach out to me. They reached out to me 2 days later, and I now work in social services, out in the field, helping people not only with their physical health, but now I help people with their mental health. So I
That's
help people
great.
find housing, homeless people who have like mental disorders. We help get them services, help them find housing and everything. So it's been so fulfilling,
Good.
great benefits and everything. So I'm also not only helping people with their mental health, but I'm also still helping people with their physical health. So
Hmm.
my son's doing good. He's working, he's recovered and everything. And I found a great career. And it's really hard to get back out in the workforce because I was laid off from Wells Fargo like 3 years ago. It's
Hmm.
hard to get back out there and find something that's fulfilling when you're over
Yeah.
50.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I'm so happy for you. Yay.
Thank you. So it's been a win-win. Now, I will say this. Let me go back to, what I was saying that, I've been having the itching and all of that. So that's gone. However, I don't like doing mammograms. I get them, okay, but I don't like them. They can be painful. And then I know too, there's a lot of, talk about like sometimes they
Yeah.
can damage the cells and cause your cells to cluster together and cause, I've heard so many people say they found a lump after they did a mammogram, right? So I'm not discouraging mammograms at all. But there is a natural health alternative to that, and it's called thermograms. Have you heard of that? Thermography?
No. No.
Okay. So this is where they do like a heat scan of your body from head to toe. Like you can have one just for the breast, whatever targeted area, or you can have a full body one. They're usually between $300 to $500, and you find them in the natural health practitioners do them. And so that it does a heat scan from head to toe, so they can see gum disease. They see every cell in your body, every nerve, every bone, every organ, and it will identify heat. Like if there's heat showing anywhere in your body, then that's inflammation. So then they'll say, well, you have a cluster of inflammation on the left breast, so you need to go follow up.
Okay,
You
so
know,
what's this thing called again?
it's called thermography. THERMOGRAPHY, or something
Okay.
very similar,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. So I
Cool.
actually
That's
have
good.
one coming up. I'm going to do one at the end of this month. I did one like 4 years ago. So I'm going to do another one. And they do recommend if they do find inflammation that you come back within 3 months, and they'll compare the two. And if there's still like a damaged cells or if it's spread, then they're going to recommend you go to
Hmm.
go right away to the doctor. So I'm
Hmm.
going to do that as opposed to a mammogram first. But again, like all the symptoms that were starting, those have all gone away now by me doing the raw.
Wow, that's incredible. The
Yeah.
power of raw foods. And I see those types of stories so many times. And so with all those symptoms going away, like what was a typical day of eating for you?
I knew you were going to ask that. So I actually made notes because I'm eating good, honey. Okay, so I try to eat in season because my body does best with that. You
Mm.
know, again, living this lifestyle for so long, like my body does not do good with a bunch of bananas in the winter. Like
No.
it just doesn't because they're not in season. I didn't know that at first, but now I understand that, right? So I try to eat in season. So if you notice, like during the cold, especially if you're in the Midwest or in the cold states, um, lower sugar fruits are more abundant during the winter, right? Especially like in the Midwest. So like citrus fruits, grapefruits, oranges, tangerines, pears, kiwis, things like that are in abundance right now, right? So
Hmm.
I eat, I usually don't eat more than 2 to 3 fruits in a day. I do eat blueberries, a lot of blueberries because they're really good for hormones. And I have a history of hormonal, fluctuations and disorders. So I do like organic blueberries. So I make a delicious creamy blueberry smoothie with blueberries, avocado, almond milk, some protein powder, and a little bit of apple cider vinegar. Such a delicious smoothie, right? So I usually have like smoothies for breakfast or some fruit or something like that. For lunch, I will have like almond or coconut milk yogurts. And I am playing around with learning how to make my own yogurts, but so I'll do all yogurts with flax meal, ground flax meal. You know, you got to get your omega 3s and a squeeze of lemon or lime, or I'll make like a chia seed pudding, which is so delicious. Now I have uh, uh, well, I'll talk about that in a minute. For dinner, I have at it. Like I love savory dishes, so I'll have like yesterday I had a delicious chopped avocado, cucumber, tomato with red onion salad, and it was with olive oil and vinegar and sea salt and some herbs like dill and oregano. Oh my God, it's such a good dish. Another thing I love is like zucchinis. Those are in abundance right now. Root vegetables and things like that are in abundance. So zucchini noodles, I love making like zucchini noodles with raw marinara sauce.
Mm,
So
me
like,
too. So good.
oh, you make those too?
Yep.
Yeah, oh, so good, especially if you do it right. Or cheesy zucchini noodles. Now I have in my book, the one that I have on Amazon, 21 Days of Better Health, I have like a ton of raw food recipes. And the cheesy zucchini noodles with like nutritional yeast and all that is so good. So I make that a lot.
And there's
Um,
a lot of B vitamins in the nutritional yeast, which are good. Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. That's another thing I was going to say too. If someone's dealing with nerve pain and things like that too, B vitamins are usually something that you, and so even though I was making sure that I was getting B vitamins or whatever. If your gut bacteria is not balanced, so your gut microbiome is off, then your body can't even absorb those. So you could be taking this and you're not even getting it. So if you're having like a lot of neuropathy and nerve pain, they say B vitamins and D vitamins are a huge deficiency as well.
Yeah, they're crucial. Yeah,
So
because
yeah.
one of the major causes of neuropathy is B12 and
Mm-hmm.
other B vitamin
Yeah.
deficiencies. I don't
Yep.
mess around with B vitamins. I think it's really important. I think they're really important. So that's good. Okay. Any other foods?
I do take a raw multivitamin for women. You can get
Hmm.
it from the health food store. I forget it's just called Raw Code or Raw One. So it's all raw ingredients. They even have enzymes in them, but you get
Hmm.
all of your B vitamins, your D vitamins, like you get the vitamins you need for the day, and it's raw. So I
Hmm.
do take that for women, even when I'm on the raw diet, because I know that that's something that I need. And when you're eating just all vegan, a lot of times you can be deficient in that, even if you're getting the nutritional yeast and trying to get
Hmm.
other sources. So I do make
Hmm.
sure of that. I make a delicious carrot salad. Let me give you a tip. For those who juice, when you're juicing your carrots, like if you're getting ready to make a juice, do your carrots first, catch them in a bowl or a bag or whatever, and put them in a bowl. Throw some delicious vegan mayo. Like follow your heart has really good mayos. Put some vegan mayo, some organic relish, chop that up and put that in there. And that's a delicious carrot salad. You can even put a little bit of toasted sesame seed oil in there if you want. Very good, delicious carrot salad. I love that. Love it, love it, love
Hmm.
it. And like coleslaws, I love making coleslaws with like raw, organic purple cabbage um and carrots and the vegan mayo and stuff like that. So yeah, I eat really good on the I think I eat like I love eating like when you're on raw vegan, I think I eat better. Like I have fun on it, you
And
know.
you feel so lively and energized with the raw foods, right? It's just a
Yeah.
different experience. And did you do any
Yeah.
cleansing through all this or no? Like any cleansing at all or just abundance of the raw foods?
just abundance of the raw foods, but I made sure that, I was, having bowel movements every day, definitely watching that. And that's another thing too. When I went through that, I started having severe bowel changes. So that's how I knew my gut microbiome was off. Like sometimes, am I frozen again?
No.
Okay. Like at sometimes, I would be very like like not constipated, but they would be like hard little, like you can hear them like little hard balls. And I'm going, how
Hmm.
is that possible when I'm eating like all these, good foods? But I knew it was my digestive system, I was having issues. And then sometimes how you know that your pancreas is starting to act up or your digestive system is if you're having bowel movements and you see undigested food in them, you
Mm.
know. So that's another. So if your bowels, like check your bowels, like that comes out of you every day. Like check it, right? If it's raggedy and there's a lot of floating food, that's definitely issues going on with your pancreas and
True.
your digestive system. So I was having that during that time. Now they're solid, they're fine and things like that. But if you're having like sometimes you're constipated, then sometimes you're loose, and then there's food in there, and there's sometimes they're raggedy and mushy. There's something serious going on. Something
Hmm.
going on with your liver and your pancreas.
Hmm. We have
Definitely.
to and listen up. We have to listen up, right? And start
Mm-hmm.
investigating, figure out what's there. But
Yeah.
yeah, just it's important we take note of these things. Okay, well, is there anything else about your experience that you want to share with us?
Let me see here. Let me see, I talked about the carrots. I wanted to make sure I didn't miss anything. Now, it's very important now I know there's a lot of Christians. I was raised Christian, okay? Very strict Christian. So we were taught as we got older, yoga is not Christian like, and meditation is not Christian like. But I'm going to tell you right now, those things work, okay? When you're praying, you're talking to God, right? But you're meditating to gain clarity and listen. So if you're looking for an answer, you can't be talking. You're not going to get your answer while you're talking, right? So think about it. If you're just praying, 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 and you're, oh, I need this, this, and that. Sometimes you have to get into a quiet space and meditate, deep breathe, listen. And that's where you gain clarity, right? I started getting a lot of, I do that all the time. Like usually in the morning before I get up, I'll do, even if it's only 15 minutes, always be grateful. Like I'm so grateful. When you're in a state of gratitude all the time,
Hmm.
it's really hard to let negativity come in. So when I
True.
wake up, I'm grateful. I'm so grateful for my home. I'm so grateful. Like I just be so grateful for delicious food on the table, for my beautiful career. Like be grateful. Just be grateful. And as you do that, you start to attract more and more things. The law of attraction is just, it can blow you away, completely blow you away. So I
Hmm.
definitely do that. I do deep breathing, I do meditation, gratitude. I have now I'm not big on YouTube. I'm not real good with social media. Like I like talking to people one on one. I'm not good at like doing podcasts where I'm just like talking to people and it's just silence back at me. But I do, every now and then I go and I try and like really get my YouTube channel up and going, or Facebook or something like that. But I do have on my YouTube channel, I do have like yoga nidra that I've been downloading, and beautiful meditations and prayers and affirmations and things like that for fasting. And I also do what are those? A frequency. Have you ever
Mm.
tried
I've
frequency
heard of
therapy?
it. I've heard that it's amazing.
Jillian, it works. It completely works. I had someone that, I've had clients that I've worked with that were dealing with like parasites and things like that. And I gave them some frequency therapy music to listen to for parasites. And the
Mm.
stories I heard of them seeing parasites
Wow.
coming up and feeling parasites in their stomach, like it's amazing. Like frequency therapy works. And I know how to do them. I learned how to do them. So I'm going to be uploading stuff like that on my YouTube channel, like
Cool.
prayers, affirmations, meditations, yoga nidra, things like that. So I got about 100 subscribers, right? Because I don't be, but I have to be consistent. See, you're good. I got to
I'm
be more
I'm pretty good
consistent.
about being consistent. I think one
Yeah.
in 4 years, there was 1 month where I took 30 days off. And there's been over this Christmas, because I've had a lot of personal stuff going on. I went 2 weeks without posting, but that's not like me. Usually it's like 1 to 3 videos every week. But I get it. I
See,
get how it's
that's
hard to
good.
be consistent for a lot of people. I get it. A lot of my friends are
But
like, I
see,
don't know how you do it.
least you talk to people. Like for me, like I was doing like live broadcasts and things on YouTube. I mean on Facebook. So I'm just like talking to people And I just feel like it's this vast, empty like
Mm,
audience or whatever.
yeah,
Like I can't like I'm good with talking one on one to somebody. So I was just
me
like, this is
too.
not me. I get to sweat and I just feel foolish. Like later,
I
a
get
thousand
it.
people, a thousand people might watch it later, but at the time, like it's awkward, right? I don't
It's
like to.
awkward. Yeah, you feel weird. I still feel weird when I do videos just by myself. I'm like, I like to be with somebody
Yeah.
else in the videos, and that's it.
Right. But my goal is to, what I want to do is I really do want to build that because I want to be able to speak to people through YouTube, right? My goal is to build the channel in such a way that I can start to work with, like maybe once a month, I'll award somebody a free where I work with them with their health. They might be financially challenged, maybe not able to afford it, but I just want to help. Like I really want
Hmm.
to help people all across the world, right? So that's my goal. And I just really just want to get the word out. Like you said, it's not the magic, there's no magic, right? But what we can do is give our bodies a chance to fight.
Hmm.
Just like yesterday, I want to reiterate this. In training, because I told you I have a new career. I just started that in November. This is January. In training yesterday, I was sitting with someone who was very sick. Very, okay. He was nose was running, and then he would like wipe his nose when he didn't think I was looking. And I'm going, oh my God, like, he would wipe his nose with his hands, and I had to go find him. Like he was sick, he was sneezing and coughing. I was like, you shouldn't have came to work. I said it sweetly, but I was concerned. But today I didn't catch it, right? I'm not saying I'm superwoman, but right now I'm not feeding my body anything toxic. So my body was able to, when that virus entered my body and I felt it because I started getting the chills, it was able to fight it right off. Let's say, uh-oh, here's an emergency trying to come in. Let's fight this because it doesn't have, some fried chicken to fight off or some
Hmm.
potato chips or processed
Yeah.
food. I'm not stressed. I'm not worried and having full of anxiety. I'm sleeping well. So my body doesn't have to deal with all these other emergencies.
Yeah.
And so now it's able to fight off that little lonely virus that was trying to enter the body. So that's
Hmm.
important. I really want to reiterate that to people. Everybody's like, oh my God, wear your mask, sanitize your hands, don't be around public. You can't. Are we going to be hermits? You
I
know,
know. I get it. Yeah, I know.
So,
No, but
just give your body the best chance to fight.
hmm.
It really hurts me. I didn't know that you had spoken to someone that's been, vegan all their life and they have cancer,
Well, Chef AJ, yeah, she's been, I think, vegan for more than my whole life. I'm 42. I think she said it's longer than my life, and
Wow.
whole foods for a long time, like whole foods,
Wow.
plant-based, really clean eating. And
Yeah.
yeah, but I mean, I have that interview. That interview will be out by the time this is up. So I'll put that on
Okay.
the screen at the end of this video and I'll put it down below. It's such a good interview. It actually
Yeah.
inspired me so much to just realize like we have to have more fun in life. She realized she was maybe chasing the
Ooh.
wrong things, stressed out, like not having enough fun, off balance,
Yeah.
So it's important that like it's because it's not just all food. I think it's easy in any, no matter which way you eat in all the different communities. If something happens, it's all diet. In a lot of cases, it is the diet, like with how crazy our food culture has gotten, right? But it's not all the food. Like at least I'm not God. I don't know
Right.
everything, but I don't think it's all the food. I think the stress and a lot can do a lot to us too. And sleep, lack of sleep. I've had really bad chronic lack of sleep for a long time, having two kids and raising them mostly
Yeah.
alone. So I've been sleeping really good lately. It makes a huge difference on the health, right?
And we, like you said, there's some anomalies. You're gonna hear about, people occasionally that did all these things and still unfortunately lost their
Yeah,
lives. But,
that's the thing. I know.
I would much rather, know that I gave myself a fighting chance,
Me
you
too.
know, as opposed to, oh man, I got all these things and it could have been this. It was probably because I was smoking. It was probably because of the drugs I did. It was probably because of this. Like I would much rather know that I gave myself the ultimate gift. And so if something does happen, I did everything in my power
Hmm.
you did
Yeah.
everything in your power to honor and preserve your temple. These are our temples, period.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
so while we have them, we should do everything. That includes what we put on our skin as well. Our
Hmm.
skin is our largest organ. So when we're putting like lotions and things like that that has chemicals in them, those
Hmm.
are absorbing right into your skin, into your bloodstream. Those are
Hmm.
toxic.
Hmm.
When we have our cell phones nonstop, my sons are
Yeah,
young. My
the
youngest,
radiation. Yeah.
yeah, all day. Let me tell you a quick story. I know our time is almost up, but I got to tell you this real quick. When I first, about a month and a half ago, when I first started my new job, we had a week that we were doing training from home, right? And so I was sitting, I have two offices in my house. And so I was sitting at the upstairs office, and like by the second day, I was like, why am I so tired? Like it was to the point, like I would be sitting there on, the Zoom, and I just literally would just like feel like I was gonna pass out. Like, I'm so exhausted. This doesn't make any sense. And I could not figure out what was going on. It took about 3 days for me to realize. I looked over to the right, and there was the Wi-Fi box. I like never used that office,
Wow.
but the Wi-Fi box was sitting smack there, like right where I was sitting. So I'm sitting there, and like all this Wi-Fi and radiation is just going through my body while I'm, in my office, while I'm on in my class. So I said, okay, I put some Wi-Fi, some deflectors on there, but it didn't seem like it changed it. So I went into my other office, and I was fine after that. Like within a day or so, like the next day, I wasn't exhausted like that. Like I haven't felt like that. Like it was debilitating. Like all of a sudden, I just felt so exhausted. Like I just wanted to just lay on the floor and pass out.
I believe it. I have a friend who says it can affect us so much. He started like unplugging it and taking it out of his room, and then he started sleeping better than ever. Like he actually started dreaming again, all these things. So who knows how all this stuff affects us, right? That's why it just brings
Yo,
us back to nature. We got to get into nature more, take
do.
breaks from all this artificial stuff, get
Yeah.
grounded in the earth, have community, have friends we can count on, have good water, have good food.
Yeah.
And, do the things that make you feel happy, the meditation, the yoga, and your passion, and get some sun. And there's all these things, right? To live our best life. Otherwise,
Yeah,
it can be a dark
and
road.
get blood panels too, and watch your oral health, because they
Mm,
say that undiagnosed gum disease is one of the number one causes of like kidney disease, diabetes, cancer, and things like that. So make sure that you're going to the dentist, and make sure they're checking those pockets in your mouth. A lot of times they're not doing that, and there's bacteria that can get trapped in your mouth, and that stuff feeds into your bloodstream. I think I told you all this on my last my recording, that my ex-husband died from untreated gum
yeah,
disease.
that's
And
right.
since then I heard of a famous just I read an article about 2 weeks ago of a famous football or basketball player that died from sepsis of the blood from gum infection. I've heard about 4 or 5 stories. I know a client that I was working with, her son was given 3 months to live, and he was only in his late 30s, and the doctor said it was because of gum disease that had not been taken care of, and it had killed his kidneys. So his
Whoa.
kidneys were gone, like they were just not functioning, and he was only in his 30s. Now, a lot of times people think that you can see it. No, the teeth were still there. Their teeth weren't rotten and falling out of their mouth for anything. So it's silent. Like that stuff can get down into the pockets in your, bone loss and things like that. So if you have bleeding gums and your teeth are moving around, you're constantly having cavities, gum pain, get that checked out, because that, I believe that's what caused my mom's pancreatic cancer, because my mom had a long history of issues with her teeth. And by the time she was my age, in her 50s, she had to have all her teeth taken out, and they gave her an implant. And
Yeah.
I really believe that was the cause of all that's what killed my mom's
Well,
pancreas.
yeah, you do hear that there's so much connected to our dental health.
Yes.
And all these
Yeah.
stories you say of things happening to somebody days later, weeks later, months later, like
Mm-hmm.
we just have to wake up right now in this moment and be grateful that we're here because we never know what's going to happen. Start each day with
Yeah.
gratitude, try and take care of our health head to toe and do the best we can because we want to live all our days through till the end and live
Yeah.
old and thrive, So let's look into our oral health, our mental health, the foods we're putting in our gut, our exercise is so important too, our
So
sleep,
important.
all these things. Well, this has been
Yeah.
amazing. I could talk to you all day. We'll have to
I
bring you
know. We
back.
said that last time. We like, girl,
Yeah.
you like my sister,
I know,
okay?
me too. We just vibe. I love having you on. So let everybody know where they can find you, and I'll put all the links down below. And I forget which video we were talking about. Oh, yeah, our other podcast. I'll put on the screen at the end of this as well for people to
Yes.
go check out because it was really good too.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. So again, I'm gonna try and build my Facebook page. I mean my YouTube, forget Facebook. I'm gonna try and build my YouTube channel. So it's called Healing Naturally with Doreen. Okay, that's my Facebook channel. I got about 100 subscribers. I'm gonna build that because again, as it builds, I want to help people one-on-one, right? So you can find me there at my YouTube channel. I do have some meditations on there now. I'm uploading frequency therapies. I have a lot of amazing stories about people who overturn health conditions, with vegan diets and things like that. So healing naturally with Doreen. Also, I am building my Instagram. I don't know anything about this Instagram, honey. I need my sons to help me out, but I'm trying. I'm building Instagram, so there will be, we'll be uploading things on there, and that's
Cool.
my wellness, my life.
Yeah.
Um, I do have like with all these recipes, these delicious recipes that I've put together. I did make a book, and so it's on Amazon. It's called 21 Days to Better Health, and it's got some delicious raw vegan recipes. So get the book, enjoy the recipes, and if after you do that, you still have like lingering health concerns or serious health concerns, there's how it tells you how you can reach out to me so that I can work with you one on one and give you like, specific foods and herbs and things like that.
Hmm. Cool. Awesome. Well, congrats on starting the new pages. That's exciting. And I
Thank
think you're
you so
amazing. I'm
much.
so happy to see that there's positive changes with your health and it's taking the right direction. And it's great that the raw
Thank
foods
you.
have benefited you. So it's always nice
Yes.
sharing stories, no matter what health path people take. I support that, even if it's not raw, whatever people do that make them live their best life. That's what we're all about on this channel. So if you like that, then be sure to subscribe. And go check out Doreen and I's other podcast, which is great. And I'll put another really good video on the screen right now as well. So subscribe. We love you guys, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.
Bye.